Greetings, good afternoon, good evening to you all on this Monday. My name is Thandisizwe Chimurenga, and this is Rootwork, not root, but Rootwork here on the Black Liberation Media platform. Thank you so much for hanging out with me this afternoon, evening, and thank you for checking out the video later on when you get the opportunity. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Like the video now in case you get pissed off later or forget. Share the link to the video and subscribe. Subscribe to Black Liberation Media. We're at 50,000 folks and we're continuing to grow strong. We greatly appreciate all of you. Please subscribe to my personal work channel here on YouTube. And yeah, like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to be a supporter of independent media. The Patreon for Black Liberation Media should be scrolling at the bottom of the page, as well as the Sistas' personal Cash App and Venmo for those who feel so inclined. So today, we're coming off of a extremely heavy weekend, if not week, of Dia de los Muertos, the Day of the Dead, All Saints Day. We're ending Hoodoo Heritage Month, also known at the end of the month as Halloween, that All Hallows Eve that weekend. And Brooke Obie, a journalist, author, filmmaker, and film critic, who is the founder, editor, and curator of Black Girl Watching, we've had her on the show before, did an interesting roundup of Black horror movies in which I felt personally attacked, but we'll come back to that later. So I wanted to have Brooke on to discuss that, as well as other recent portrayals of Black women in media. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get out to see One Thing After Another, One Battle After Another, Paul Thomas Anderson's flick. I know it's been covered elsewhere here on Black Liberation Media, but Brooke has her own ideas about it. Y'all know I'm gonna have my own ideas about it. It's supposed to be released on streaming soon. So we're gonna come back and add those analyses to the mix, to the pot of things that are offered here on Black Liberation Media, on Rootwork. So real quick, see a couple of folks. How you doing, Terry? Hey, Leah. Greetings, Balance and Act. Thank you all so much for joining us this afternoon, this evening. And let's get right to it. I'm going to bring up Brooke. How are you today?
I'm doing so great. Thank you for having me back.
Absolutely, absolutely, no problem. I appreciate your analyses. I appreciate your voice. You bring something to the table that I consider to be refreshing. Although in this last go round, I did feel personally attacked. If you're not familiar with Black Girl Watching, please check it out. It is available on as a Substack. Actually, I'm looking around here. Let me see if I can share this screen. Black Girl Watching. Yes. So again, this is a space founded by, edited by, curated by Brooke Obie. Which movie was awful, Leah? Which movie did you walk out of? Is that One Battle After Another? The Paul Anderson?
It's terrible. It deserves to be walked out on.
Hold on. We're gonna come back to that. Oh my God. Okay, thank you, Leah. That is the movie you're talking about. Okay, cool. We're gonna come back to that. Even though, was it Tiana Taylor, and somebody
Tiana Taylor.
Taylor.
Chase Infinity is the new actress, and Regina Hall.
Hall, that's who it was. Okay.
They're all great actresses who deserve better.
Okay, speaking of deserve better, before we segue to that, I'm just going to help facilitate your analyses because, like I said, I haven't seen it yet. But let's talk about this personal attack that you launched against me. Now, as you said, I've had you on the show before. I appreciate your analysis. You and we haven't hung out in real life, but I thought we were cool. I thought we were good. And then you did this. You on your Substack wrote a review of horror movies, a few horror movies that rounded out the month. And then you put in here the worst horror movie you've ever seen,
Yes.
Skeleton Key,
Yes.
you believe that Kate Hudson is going to jail or should be.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm trying to,
Arrested.
I can't seem to well, first of all, where's the we don't have the graphic anymore. Oh, now they want me to subscribe. Come on, I'm already
Come on,
subscribed.
subscribe.
I've already subscribed
I
elsewhere, but
know.
it's not in here. Okay. All right. I'll come back to that later.
Hmm.
So again, as I was saying, this personal attack where you believe that this is the worst horror movie you've ever seen.
100%. Absolutely. I stand on it.
10 toes down.
100%.
Oh my goodness. Oh my God.
10 fingers, 10 toes.
I'd heard in the background of my life that there was a horror movie about an Ivy League fraternity with secret ties to slavery and enslaved ghosts come back to life and get revenge. I thought that's what the Skeleton Key was about. Apparently, my young mind had combined the plot of the Skeleton Key with a thriller from 2000, The Skulls, the Jonathan Jackson Yale Illuminati movie that Roger Ebert called one of the great howlers. It isn't a comedy, but that won't stop anyone. And yes, we do miss Roger Ebert. The movie in my mind was way better than them both, but The Skulls is bad in all the typical Hollywood liberal ways. The Skeleton Key is something worse. It's 37%. Rotten Tomatoes score doesn't begin to scratch the surface. When I call it the worst horror movie, I don't mean that there aren't jump scares that might catch you or horror elements that are unsuccessful. I don't just mean that the plot and rampant stereotypes make it a slog, though that is true. I mean that this script and casting are so devious and underhanded in its anti-Blackness as to be infuriating.
Yes.
But let's start from the beginning. So, as opposed to reading that, I'm going to start with you. And why do you hate me so?
I had no idea. I mean, I had no idea so many Black people found this movie to be like comforting, or I was shocked. I was totally shocked because of the number of Black people who actually recommended this movie to me to watch. I was expecting something totally different than what this movie ended up being, which I believe is a manifestation of the intersection of white guilt and white fear, because they know what they've done to Black people in this country. And their biggest fear is that they're going to have some consequences for that. And so they have created in their mind this Black boogeyman that's gonna come get them, that's just waiting in the shadows to come get them, when the actual history in Black history in this country has been quite the opposite. I think there's a reason why it's a popular quote that white people should be grateful that Black people only wanted equality and not revenge, because that has been the course of our history. We didn't come together and form a Ku Klux Klan to go and burn down their plantations. There are white families generationally still making money off of plantations to this day in the United States of America.
There are white families who still have pieces of lynched Black people in their basements somewhere.
Absolutely. And not even just hidden away in the basement, like, that story that came out about, Harvard University, their weird, scary art collection that they have that is just totally devastating of enslaved Black people. I mean, all the Ivy League institutions, they're still operating thanks in large part to the slave labor that allowed them to be what they are today. JP Morgan Chase, our entire economy, as it is today, is still profiting from what they got off of the backs of enslaved Black people in this country. So the reality is that while they are still profiting, we are still suffering, and still we have never in large groups ever come out to be some huge threat to white comfort, white safety, any of that they have created in their mind as a stereotype of a Black boogeyman.
Now, I hear you on that. I understand. I agree absolutely. But here's my thought. When I saw the skeleton key and what we would call the quote unquote twist at the end, I thought it was a very interesting twist. Number one, at the very, very end, when they talk about, and if you have not seen the skeleton key, go ahead and after this show is over with and Brooke is finished attacking me, go ahead and watch it for yourself. But here's the point. The concept of sacrifice, the infusion of hoodoo, African traditional spiritual systems and belief systems, and the concept of sacrifice being a sort of trade that a lot of people get scared off from when you talk about voodoo or African religion or sacrifice. I thought that was a palatable way to phrase it. But the other part being that this couple switched their identity and were able to live out the rest of their lives. In one of the last scenes, actually, where Kate Hudson says, I told you I wanted a black one this time. Ostensibly, she's supposed to be the black woman character speaking in the body of Kate Hudson. And I forgot the guy's name. The other actor is saying to her, you know, the black ones never stay. I thought that, again, you've got these instances throughout the movie where black people, jumping at the bit. Okay. I didn't see it so much as white guilt and white fear, although you bring up excellent points. I just saw it as an interesting plot twist, an interesting flip, an interesting way to avoid being lynched.
Sure. I also believe you have to take into consideration that this is supposed to be a story about what white people have done to black people.
Well, is it supposed to be that? Is that what it's supposed to be?
That's how they got in the situation. So we learn about, you know, the terrible lynching that happened in this plantation house, you know, and how horrible that was. And, you know, all of that, the mob that came out for this hoodoo practitioner couple who were well respected. Who were well respected in their community and all of that. Like the story is hoodoo. Again, you have a closed practice. That's number one. A closed Black American practice,
right?
Of survival, of spirituality, of community, and that is being protection, and that is being utilized and put into the hands of a white woman, Kate Hudson, to save another white man, like, and then to say no. The first, she's learning hoodoo so that she can save, and she's not only learning hoodoo. A black woman is teaching this white woman hoodoo. That was the first time I was like, let me turn this off. Like, I'm gonna be upset.
Did the woman teach her hoodoo, or did she sell her stuff from the shop?
She did both.
It has been a while.
She did both of those things, but beyond that, Kate Hudson has a black best friend, Joy Bryant. Joy Bryant's ancestral tradition, according to the character that she plays, I can't remember her name. She's like non-existent in the movie, so I don't remember her character's name. But her ancestral tradition in the movie is hoodoo, which is how she's able to even identify to Kate Hudson that what's going on in the house is hoodoo. What's happening? Like, this is what this practice is called. And again, this is her only purpose in the movie, to take Kate Hudson down to the hoodoo shop and be like, oh, girl, here it is right here. And she's like, Kate Hudson's like, oh, well, yes, let's go on inside and learn more. Oh, no, I'm not touching that hoodoo. Like, it's very frustrating because, again, this is Joy Bryant. Again, like, it's just reiterating this idea of hoodoo, for one, as something that is scary, that's demonic, that's evil, that Black people should not be associated with. But Kate Hudson, in her noble white saviorness, like, she can have access to this thing. She can be curious about it. She can learn about it, and she can be taught about it. And
I hear you.
That's like, that to me is telling a Black story with white characters. So the big twist that they were really Black all along, you're able to do that without ever having Black actors take up any space in the movie or tell their own story. It's coming from Gina Rollins. It's coming from all these other white actors who are like, oh, but they're like, it's like that trope, I've got a sassy Black woman inside me, like that's what it is. Let
me read this real quick, just to be on the quote unquote. Let me put this in perspective. Kate Hudson stars as a hospice nurse who wasn't there for her own father's death and now must treat every patient as if they were a second chance with her father. She lives in New Orleans with her Black best friend. Really, that's trademarked, really?
Yes.
Who exists only to correctly identify the weird African American goings on, also trademarked, at Kate's new job on a plantation as a live-in nurse to an old white man who's had a stroke and can't speak or control his body. His rude, overbearing wife and the villain of this tale is played by The Notebook's Gina Rollins. And while Kate is most certainly going to jail for this role, she never went to jail. It was years ago. There's still time for her to go to jail for this role. Statute of limitations. And while Kate is most certainly going to jail for this role, I may never forgive Gina either. The old couple's estate attorney convinces Kate to take the job after unpleasantries with Gina Rollins. But Kate becomes suspicious of Gina when the old man begs Kate to help him and tries to escape the house during a rainstorm. She goes investigating in the plantation house and finds a room in the attic opened by a skeleton key that's full of mirrors and other scary Black things. Joy Bryant plays the BBF, Black best friend, and she teaches Kate that the room in the old couple's plantation house is where hoodoo is practiced. She even takes Kate to a local hoodoo shop to get more information. But Joy, the only Black person in the main cast, is too afraid of the hoodoo her grandmother practiced to go inside the shop or, quote, mess with it, unquote. She encourages Kate to leave it alone, which, of course, Kate does not. Right, in her Karenness, Kate does not do that. To summarize the summary, we have a story about a plantation house and the Black American closed practice of hoodoo told from the lens of a white woman main character and a mostly white cast. But it gets worse. Kate believes that hoodoo is the root cause of her patient's inability to speak or move, and therefore believes if she can learn the right spells, her patient will be cured. She goes back to the hoodoo shop, and Black women teach Kate Hudson hoodoo. I almost turned the TV off.
Yes.
But you soldiered on.
I did.
Knowing the horror that awaited. Obviously, because it's a Louisiana plantation house, it's haunted by ghosts of Black people. But the skeleton key adds a twist. The Black couple who lived and worked in this house came after slavery. They were celebrated hoodoo practitioners in their community, but still needed to work for the mean white people who owned the plantation. Legend has it that during a dinner party for the new era enslavers, the Black couple were upstairs in the attic teaching the enslavers' children about hoodoo. The enslavers and their guests caught the Black couple and lynched them out in front of the house. The powerful spell Kate needs to learn to save her patient are from the notes and recordings of the Black couple. When Gina finds out what Kate is up to, Kate starts using hoodoo to protect herself from Gina, and Gina fights back with stronger hoodoo. Yes, these two white women are fighting each other with hoodoo in a plantation house. I hate everyone involved. When I said on Threads that I hated this movie, a few people encouraged me to keep watching to the end. Wait for the twist. I'm going to leave it there because every time I read this, I've just started laughing and howling and feeling attacked, but still laughing and howling about it.
Well, good. My work is done.
Oh, that was too much for me. Hold on 1 second. Y'all have to make this a monthly service. There's so many of these movies that need your feet on their necks.
That's my favorite thing.
Oh my God. That role was perfect for Joy Bryant, to be honest. Ah,
Well,
black best friend. But she deserved better. She deserved better. And my husband, or my ex-husband, Isaac de Mancole, deserved better. But what it is what it is. I mean.
now who did he play? Was he the man in the
He was,
couple?
no, he was the French-speaking guy at the gas station.
Oh.
And I think, yeah, when she pulls up to the gas station, they're playing
Yes.
Papa Justify's one of his records.
Yes.
Papa Justify was the black hoodoo practitioner. I forget the woman's name. It wasn't Mama Justify. Maybe it was. I don't know.
Well, but the point is that they are secondary to the white characters. And
Yes.
so as long as you know their names, that's all that really matters in this story.
Oh, Lord. Okay. Feed on the any last. You are encouraged. You are encouraged. Please go to Black Girl Watching on Substack, subscribe, and also become a patron of the monthly, or not even monthly, weekly, daily analyses and musings of Brooke Obie. Now, Paul Thomas Anderson, one battle after another.
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea what the movie was about. As a matter of fact, if my memory serves me correctly, when it was being advertised, I did not see Regina Hall or Tiana anywhere. It was just Leonardo and whoever else that other guy is. I don't remember.
That's because that's who the movie is about.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about Regina Hall. It's definitely not about Tiana Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
Regina gets more screen time, I would say, probably than Tiana does. But this is a Leonardo DiCaprio movie. This is a movie about a revolution, quote unquote, that is kind of all over the place. I mean, like they're attacking government building. They're kind of their inspiration is the real life Weather Underground. This group of which is a funny point because Weather Underground is a white leftist Marxist organization.
Mm-hmm.
And Leonardo DiCaprio is the only white man, the only white man in this group of revolutionaries that are led by Tiana Taylor and are made up of Black women. So it's it's already off to a problematic start because they're ascribing the actions of a white leftist movement to Black women who were largely not a part of and definitely not leading these missions. And again, Paul Thomas Anderson isn't really interested in revolution. That is an aesthetic. That's Beyonce at the Super Bowl with the Black Panther helmet. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is not real substantive. This is background aesthetic. So it's very, very infuriating in particular because Tiana Taylor, who she said in interviews that this character that she plays, Perfidia Beverly Hills, is supposed to be inspired by Assata Shakur.
Wait. Hold on 1 second. The name of the character is Perfidia
Beverly Hills.
Beverly Hills.
Yes. Which again, why would Assata Shakur or anybody in that vein name for themselves Perfidia? I think means like betrayal or something like that. And it means like lie, treachery, all that. And Beverly Hills, like what part of anything that Assata has ever done or stood for, wrote about, spoke about, lived her life would suggest that she would want to be named and represented by a name that is the epitome of white wealth, fame, capitalism, everything that she's against. It's just it's definitely downhill from there. But yeah, that is kind of at the core, especially, I know you've just had a celebration of Assata. Black Girl Watching, we just did our book club at the first Sunday of the month. We talked about Assata Shakur. We read the autobiography together and discussed it, had a fantastic discussion about that book. And you can see, she says very clearly why she chose the name Assata Olugbalu Shakur. Like these words had significance, they had meaning. And Paul Thomas Anderson is just, he doesn't give a shit about Black women. He doesn't care about revolution. He doesn't care about any of these things, but is using these aesthetics.
Going back to the previous discussion, Leah said, I don't ever think that African spiritual traditions are accurately portrayed in any movies, including Sinners. And it goes without saying that anything dealing with Black liberation or Black revolution absolutely, positively will not be portrayed.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, it will not be even, you won't even be able to recognize it.
Yeah, intentionally.
You won't be able to recognize it. And I often think of that in relation to movies in terms of that COINTELPRO memo that came out where J. Edgar Hoover says you're supposed to disrupt, neutralize. I can't remember the exact words, but it's basically, you know, you're trying to prevent the long-range growth of Black nationalist revolutionary liberation sentiment in the youth. And I think about some of these Blaxploitation films that came out in the 70s where the Black liberation characters were either criminals, such as in the River Niger, or they were buffoons, similar to that brief, they weren't on screen long, but in Superfly, you had these three dudes representing, you know, I guess the Panthers or somebody trying to shake down the pimp. He's like, I ain't giving y'all shit. When you really want to get down in the streets, come see me. Until then, get out my face. And they leave the club. And I'm like, well, damn. Literally tail tucked between their legs. And then you have the River Niger, James Earl Jones, Glenn Turman. A brother comes home from the Air Force, and the folks he used to hang out with are now revolutionaries. They want him to join him. He's hemming and hawing. They're going to threaten to kidnap and kill his father if they don't. Where they do that at? How is that related to revolution? Anywhere in anybody's playbook. I was on my journey to consciousness, and I was appalled when I first saw that movie. Like, huh? It's some others we can name, but yes, go ahead.
I mean, but that is, I mean, as you mentioned, like this is very strategic. The United States government is very involved with Hollywood, very involved with approving scripts, approving, you know, ideas, and allowing access in exchange for that approval for certain things. I'm sure that was not the case for One Battle After Another, but I mean, a lot of the movies that we watch, all the Marvel movies for sure, I mean, there are hundreds of them that we are seeing, these big blockbuster movies. These are made with partnership with the United States military. Absolutely. So the intention to use art as a form of revolution, I mean, that they know the power of it. And so of course they want to quell that. And they've done a pretty good job of that.
Very good.
So yeah, you know, and so that's another thing too. If you can look at I mean, One Battle After Another, I will say, has flopped. Like financially, it's a flop. I don't care how people are trying to shoo this away. They didn't shoo it away when Sinners didn't make its budget back in the first weekend. We can call this movie a flop, you know, especially in comparison. I think Sinners made about 4 times as much money as this movie, and they're still kind of being compared as if they are, you know, equal movies, which they are absolutely not. But so even though it flopped commercially, critically, it's a huge success. Critically, it's going to blow Sinners and every other movie out of the water, because this is, you know, a darling of Hollywood that they want to celebrate in Paul Thomas Anderson. And so I think just off of the fact that it's received so much love should be evident. And there's supposed to be a revolutionary, like an overtly revolutionary message and aesthetic in it, that should tell you everything that you need to know about whether or not this is of any actual use or substance to society.
You know, I try not to think of Queen and Slim often, but every now and again when I allowed it to enter my consciousness, I remember when it was being promoted, when it was being talked about, then when it was talked about in terms of this film is coming. And now we're getting ready to release this film. We're getting ready to launch this film. I heard about there's a killing of a cop in here. And I remember thinking, why are the police not up in arms over this? I mean, they were up in arms over Beyonce's
Right.
Super Bowl. They threatened to walk off jobs as a result of that. Why is there no outcry over this film where a cop is shot? And then I saw the film.
Oh, two cops are killed in that one.
Right. And then I understood why.
Mm-hmm.
So when you talk about these films that are done in relation with the state, whether it's the U.S. military or local police, yeah.
But the sad thing about Queen and Slim, and I think like Lena Waithe was very vocal at the time about the fact that she was very much in control of this screenplay. She did not get notes from any white people, which
she should have.
Hello, I feel like somebody who knows how to make a movie could have given some really great notes on that, and left race out of the equation on that one. But it was because, again, you have not only do you have two cops that are killed, but you have a cop that's killed by a young Black boy that is specifically suggesting that this is the reason why why we're out here protesting. We're out here protesting because we want to kill police like that.
And get on a shirt.
That's what and get on a shirt. Like, that's somebody who is so disconnected from community. You've never been to a march a day in your life, first of all. And second of all, you don't know anybody in the movement. Like, you have no connections whatsoever. And so
there was nobody you could call. Nobody.
No, that would require, and I remember I actually interviewed her that year as well, and she was saying that this was the movie, everybody had to die, Queen and Slim had to die because, in homage to the mothers of the revolution, like they didn't get their children back. Well, these are fictional characters. Like, you made all this up. Like, none of this had to happen. Like, you talk about Assata literally in the movie. Like, Assata's a real person. Like, she really did escape to Cuba. That was a real possibility. Y'all could have done that. And I would have let everything else that was anti-Black and trash in that movie, I would have let it all go.
Let it all go.
I would have let it all go if they had gotten to Cuba and made it a situation. But that's why, it doesn't even have to be in partnership with the United States military to make something like Queen and Slim, because they have already conditioned us to write this way about ourselves. Like, the level of anti-Blackness in Queen and Slim that's not an accident. That is a evidence of socialization. And I don't think it's necessarily malicious. I mean, I don't know her personally or anything like that. So I don't know what's in her heart or anything like that, but I'm talking about just the impact of what was actually on the page and what was actually on the screen, the describing of the characters, that they had to be, dark skin, like they would have been out in the fields, and light skin, like she would have been in the house. Like, these, just even the way to think about a character, that you would write that in a description, like that is a long years, decades of socialization of anti-Blackness. So we don't even, and that's COINTELPRO, if we plant the seeds, they'll water the garden, they'll do all the rest of the work. And that's kind of what's happening. So, it's really unfortunate. But even, with a movie like, that's why I wanted our Black Girl Watching to have people read Assata, the autobiography, and discuss it in community, that we would break down and go through the whole book so that we could understand her better, because the portrayal, or the suggested portrayal in One Battle After Another, is just so offensive. My article is called One Fetish After Another, talking about the hypersexualization and the fetishization of Black women, not just as the characters, but as a filmmaker who is fetishizing Black women with the writing of these characters and the portrayal of these characters. So if anybody wants to go check that out, that's on Black Girl Watching as well. But
absolutely.
Yeah, that's true. All her roles. I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed because she was really good in what was that movie? The Harlem movie.
Yeah, I know the one you're talking about, with the little boy, her son.
Yes.
I can't think of it. 1,000 to 1.
1001, yes.
1001. Mhm.
A.V. Rockwell movie. But again, that was a Black woman writer director
Exactly.
who saw her and saw what she could do and gave her something else to do other than just be a body on the screen.
Mhm. You know, I'm tempted. Okay. I'm tempted. I don't know if I should do this. We're talking about portrayals of Black women in media. And if you just joined us, speaking with Brooke Obie, journalist, author, filmmaker, and film critic, curator, editor, founder of Black Girl Watching, which you can find. Please subscribe. So we're talking about recent portrayals of Black women in media. We started out with her personal attack of me by trashing one of the films that I used to appreciate. Anyway, I want to ask you this, but I'm afraid to. Not because I'm personally invested. Okay, fine. We have to encourage critical dialogue. Teyana Taylor, Taraji Henson, Straw from Tyler Perry. Go ahead. You're not going to hurt my feelings. Go ahead.
I actually have a no Tyler Perry.
You have what?
I have a no Tyler Perry rule just for my own sanity and peace. So I have not seen Straw. I will say that I can't comment. I did see a lot of people talking about how badly Taraji P. Henson had it in the movie. Mm-hmm. So thoughts and prayers for sure.
You have a note. Do you ever break that rule?
I haven't lately. No, I haven't in years. It's been years. I think the only one that the last time where I was like, enough, was Kelly Rowland and what's his name? The guy from Moonlight.
Trevante
Rhodes.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, you know what? I'm not going to keep doing this to myself, in fact.
I don't even remember. What movie was it with Kelly Rowland? I don't even remember.
They were like playing, it was a crime thriller. She was his like lawyer. He was accused of murder. Mea culpa. And of course her name is Mia because that's just how he titles movies. So yeah.
Let's get off him real quick. But let me go back to this real quick. Joshua.
Hey, Josh.
Yeah, Joshua always. If I mention your name, Joshua lights up. So let's go back to this real quick. We were talking about Teyana Taylor, I believe, in sexualization of women.
Uh-huh.
Sinners low-key has that problem too, though. I'm just saying.
Who was sexualized? Get Josh on here. Because I've been waiting for y'all to tear up one battle after another. Where was the attack? Because y'all was going in on Sinners. So where is the one battle after another? But I don't remember. I mean, I feel like the women aren't integral enough to be. I didn't feel like they were sexualized. Like I feel like they were having sexual interactions. But I did not feel like they were like sexual. I mean, I felt offended for Teyana Taylor watching the movie. Like I literally almost got it. Like the first 15 minutes of one battle after another are unwatchable. Like it's really, really like that is how gross the sexualization is of Teyana. And again, you have these white male characters who are sexualizing her, but it's not just them. Like you see it in Paul Thomas Anderson as a filmmaker that this is what it's like he's exploring all of his fetishes. Like that's what it is. It's a filmmaker. It's Quentin Tarantino in feet. Like it is him and race play. Like Paul Thomas Anderson and race play. Like that's what I'm getting out of this. Like it was just I felt like the love scenes in Sinners were love scenes. Like these were people who were.
I misquoted him. Josh said that wasn't about their sexualization. It was about us always losing in our own films. My bad, Joshua.
Oh. Well. I mean, it's been 6 months. I've watched it 15 times at this point. I've seen every Q&A that Ryan has done here in LA. Mm-hmm. So I feel like I've thought about it quite a bit. And I guess it depends on if you see Smoke and Annie and reuniting with their baby as a loss. Mm-hmm. If you see Sammy growing up and getting his own club and still paying homage to Pearline and keeping her memory alive by naming his club that and living out his lifelong dream of, you know, playing the blues and telling his people's story. If you see that as a loss, you know, I think Stack has definitely lost. I mean, he's dead, you know, his soul dead, he's disconnected. I definitely love this idea of Stack in this 90s, you know, get up and the rings and everything as a representation of like the
hip hop.
The hyper capitalism that, you know, ruined hip hop, that destroyed this like liberatory art form and like commercialized it and sold it out. Like, I really felt like, you know, that's kind of what he was representing, like, is soul dead music, you know? And so he can't access it. He's cut off, you know, he can listen, he can remember, but he himself is cut off from that experience. So I definitely see him as losing. And if he has lost and Annie and Smoke have won by, you know, being connected to their ancestry, by being able to be a family, by being reunited and killing up all them white people who were Klansmen, the Klansmen that were trying to destroy the community. Now he's removed a huge element out of that community that is going to cause violence. So I don't know. I feel like those are wins. And Sammy left the church. And I feel like that's going to encourage other people to maybe consider like, is this thing holding me back? I just feel like there's just a lot of wins for Black people.
There are some, if you look for them, there are some.
Yeah, I think there's some wins in there.
Right. I was trying to think of this quote.
Ooh, yes,
that I heard years ago. I hate to misquote. I like to get the exact words, but it was something about motion pictures, film, cinema is the playground for white men's imagination.
Well,
it had something to do with that. So nappy-headed Hoba, Sean Penn's character is 100% Paul Thomas Anderson's proxy in one battle, and he's just putting his fetish on full display. Yeah, you can do that when you a white man.
But he's both. He's Sean Penn and he's Leonardo DiCaprio. Like, he wants to see, because, you know, Paul Thomas Anderson also has, you know, mixed race children. He's partnered with Maya Rudolph, who's Minnie Riperton's daughter, and I don't know her father's name, but so, you know, he's partnered with a biracial Black woman and they have mixed race children. And so Leonardo DiCaprio, as this white dad who's just so disconnected from his, you know, biracial Black daughter, like, that's a real experience. I think that he's like trying to figure out, you know, and his own, you know, love and adoration for working out and over sexualization of Black women. Like, he's doing both. He wants to be seen as this good guy, but Leo's character also fetishizes Tiana Taylor. Sean Penn is way more gross about it and gets into like a screaming match in the grocery store about like who loves Black women more. Like, it's gross. It's really, really gross. But Leonardo is just as like, it's almost like he sees her as this symbol of something that it will mean for him. Like, if he's partnered with this Black woman, that means something about who he is as a character, who he is as a person, that he as a white liberal man who's a revolutionary, that he gets to be partnered with this Black woman, and even says, of course I like Black girls. This is the only reason why I'm a part of the revolution. So it's stuff like that that just makes me.
What is the revolution for? Access to
these
Black
are the questions. So the thing that they do in the beginning of the movie is they liberate, I mean, I guess they do. There's a camp of incarcerated, undocumented people. And it's like a military camp, I guess. And they go and liberate, they lock up all of the guards, the military officers, and they put all of the migrants into a truck. But we never see where the truck goes. We don't meet any of those people that they liberate from the camp. We don't know what happens to them. And that kind of happens throughout the movie. Like, we have undocumented people that are just in the background. Oh yeah, they're going to freedom. Benicio del Toro's character leads a group of undocumented migrants, you know, through his underground railroad that he's created. and he's a way more fascinating, way more interesting character. I want to know what's going on. How is this revolution actually working? Paul Thomas Anderson isn't interested in revolution, so we don't actually get to see the mechanics of how that works, because that might help us figure out how we could be more organized, how we might, be able to go up against. I mean, there's a whole clash with ICE and a clash with the military that happens. But again, this is in the background because Leonardo DiCaprio has lost his daughter and he's trying to find his daughter. So we're following Leonardo DiCaprio trying to find his daughter while this stuff, the way more interesting stuff, is going on in the background. Because again, he's like, I've done my part. I was a part of the revolution. I did my part. Now I get to retire. I'm underground. And now you've taken my daughter from me. So all I care about is going to find my daughter and making sure she's safe. Whatever y'all got going on in the revolution, that's on y'all. So we don't know. We don't know what the revolution is. We don't know what it stands for. We don't know why a group of Black people specifically, like, these are the things that they are looking to do. Like, I think it's important. We should absolutely be liberating ICE camps. But I was just like, there's not other stuff, like Black stuff, that these Black women want to do, like,
already involved in. Yeah. Well, yeah, because it's never about us.
No,
it's never about us.
But I think that's, again, too, when you are hyperimposing a bunch of Black women that you're just using as props, as you said, Leah, you don't actually have to investigate, well, what would Black women do in a revolution? What have Black women done in a revolution? What do they think? What's that's it. We have this documented. It's documented. We could have, he could have read 50 pages of Assata and wrote an entirely different movie.
But so that was not the purpose.
That would be too hard. That would be too hard. So
that was not the purpose. That was not.
No. Yeah. That's what this is it, Leah. She was so undisciplined and unprincipled. And that is like one of the main things that you read in Assata's autobiography. She talks about how intentional you have to be. Tiana's just out here getting pregnant by anybody, just to be pregnant in the middle of a revolution. That's why you see that huge image of her with the big belly and the machine gun, which is just, again, this is some weird thing that you got going on with Black women that I really don't want to know about. But Assata and Kamau literally sat down and said, if we have a baby, what is this going to do? Who's going to raise it? How are we going to do it? We're incarcerated. Like, they were very intentional about bringing life into the world. Tiana Taylor's just out here doing stuff. They're robbing banks with no mask. Only Leonardo DiCaprio ever wore a mask anyway when they were out blowing stuff up all over the place. It's just like, that was a part of her rules of, what it means to be a revolutionary. A revolutionary never is in a hurry. That was why she put out this letter, apologizing to Black people for even being on the New Jersey Turnpike, that, where this shootout happened and all of the rest of the course of her life changed, because she knew that was a place with police checkpoints and they should have never been on that turnpike. So it's just like, we made a mistake in trying to hurry. And a revolutionary should never hurry. So that's the thing. If you want to have drama and conflict in a movie, like, revolutionaries make mistakes. That's a real thing that you can do, and you can see how that impacts the Black women, how the thought process behind it. It's all in this book. And they were just like, no, we're just gonna have them out here moving recklessly, have them out here putting everybody in danger. And again, Assata being acquitted of robbing a bank, first of all. So then you put her in the situation where she is actually guilty of robbing the bank in your movie. And she maintained until the day that she died that she never killed that police officer, that there was no forensic evidence to support that she killed that police officer. But you have Tiana Taylor kill a Black police officer on top of it.
Always the Black officers.
Insidious. It's insidious. Like that. Don't. I could go all day on that. But yeah, it is the complete opposite of who Assata Shakur was. And I feel like personally offended that they continue to tout her. Yes, yes, that's a real attack.
Not what I felt, but
I didn't know. Well, I didn't know. I'm intentionally saying, I didn't know I was attacking you, but I'm intentionally saying, like, this is insidious. This is insidious what they did to Assata Shakur, especially considering what she has always maintained about what happened to her on that turnpike.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm speaking with Brooke Obie, journalist, author, filmmaker, and film critic. Not just somebody who talking about films and attacking people like me, but somebody who actually has made films. The founder, editor, curator of Black Girl Watching on Substack. We talking about some recent portrayals of Black women in media and why Kate Hudson is going to prison. Because there's still time.
I am an abolitionist, however, maybe I do think there should be some consequences.
Now, we all say we believe in abolition. We all make allowances. But come on now, Kate Hudson, really?
I feel like Kate Hudson, Emma Stone, like I feel like there are so many people who have just done a lot of Sandra Bullock. Like, y'all got to pay for these movies that you put out into the universe. Like The Blind Side, we're not going to get over it. Like we're just not gonna we're not gonna let it go.
And when you talk, the psychological damage, the propaganda model, the uses of film as propaganda, absolutely. Some people should pay, absolutely. Joshua says Assata and Angela Davis are fetish for these white leftists. Look at Norm Finkelstein. Did he spell Norm Finkelstein with 3 K's?
Period.
Norman Finkelstein with 3 K's. KKK. All righty. Yeah, but that's what like I said, that quote that I can't remember. Their fetishes are on display for the world to see via the medium of film. The fact that they can even get their films greenlit and over the finish line when you have so many Black filmmakers. I'm talking about Black people in particular. Huh? We ain't got to the other people of color. You got so many Black filmmakers, so many Black writers with ideas who can't get their scripts looked at, who can't afford the fees to enter these competitions to get feedback on their script. It's
intentionally set up that way.
Yeah. So I keep talking about Black Girl Watching on Substack. Are there any places out there in the world that folks can find Brooke Obie, or do we just need to look for you at Black Girl Watching?
Look for me at Black Girl Watching, because that is where you can subscribe and also become a paying subscriber. And so that's definitely my number one source. There's also a tip jar. I love to add a little tip jar. If a story blessed your life, it changed your perspective, challenged you anyway, I always appreciate a tip. So that's the place where I want to send everybody right now. That's where all of my public writing is going to be for the foreseeable future. But yeah, I'm on Threads. If you just want to hear me like shooting the shit, I'm on Threads saying way too much.
You mentioned the Black Girl Watching book club where you read Assata's autobiography. When Sinners was out, you all had a club juke. I believe, was it twice or just one?
We had 2 club jukes. It was amazing. I did one was for my birthday party. So we actually watched the movie and talked about it and had cake and everything. And it was really, really great. But yeah, I'm just, thank you, Josh. I appreciate you. I was just like, I'm super disappointed in Warner Brothers. I did actually pitch them a bunch of ideas for stuff that they could do for award season, and they're not really doing anything. So I don't know. We should be doing club jukes all over the place. They should be nationwide.
Right. I was saying, other than
that's like low hanging fruit.
Substack, there are events. Well, you're local to Los Angeles, so
yes, I'm in LA.
Events that you do in LA. But the book club now, was that virtual?
That was virtual. So our first one, thanks Josh too for a layup on this one too. I had a group of Black men reading The Will to Change with Black Girl Watching, and that was really amazing. I mean, we had that was a 3-week every Saturday for 2.5 hours. And that was really great. That was my first virtual event. So the Asada event was my second. So yeah, so I do try to do virtual events as well. Oh, yay. Thank you for coming. Yeah, it was fun. It was really fun. Yeah, I do try to do virtual events as well. And I've been trying them different ways. So like Asada was just one day. So I'll see how people like that as opposed to doing, I mean, we were really going through the will to change. So that kind of required us to go chapter by chapter by chapter. Whereas Asada is, it's her autobiography. So it's less about like the lessons and more about understanding her story, even though that's chock full of lessons too. I think we got a lot out of it. But yeah, so we'll switch it up. I'm really interested in knowing what people want to discuss in community. And just being a space to kind of facilitate that happening. That's really the intention of Black Girl Watching, is to create a community of critical thinkers who are challenging what the messages that they're receiving, whether it's through film, TV, whatever source of media, that we are thinking critically as an anti-fascist Black tradition, to ask questions, to question everything, and to create a new reality for ourselves, to build another possible world through the imagination and using our art.
Real quick before we get out of here, I wanted to highlight this comment. When we were talking about, white men's ability to get their films made, nappy-headed jojoba, meanwhile, the spook who sat by the door went through every hurdle possible to get made. This is intentional.
Absolutely. That's a remake that I would not mind. I would love to see that movie remade.
I would like to see some real life spooks.
Well,
because I'm sick of Van Jones. I need a real I need people to take the money and then go lie, say what they want to hear, go get the money, and then come back and do something different. I need some real life spooks.
Maybe there are some that we don't know.
Okay, well, they need to step it up.
They're not doing a good job.
We need to step it up. Because this is ridiculous what we're dealing with out here.
It is a shame.
It is a shame.
I don't even think it's possible. Do you think it's possible? Because people were saying that, like, oh, people should go and sign up for ICE and get the ICE money. Like, y'all signing up to join the Klan.
It has been possible. Why aren't people doing it now? It's a failure of the imagination. The imagination has not been captured, because I fully believe Black people need to have that type of training and access to those types of resources to protect the community, not to prey on it. And I was like, what are y'all? I know y'all not waiting for the fat girl with arthritis to show you what to do. You couldn't possibly be waiting on me. What is the problem? I don't get it. I do not, other than, like you said, this lifelong process of socialization.
And rough. Cowardice. I think people know. I think people know right from wrong. It's the same reason why people won't speak up against genocide. Like, it's at the end of the day, there's you get rewarded for cowardice in this country, and you get punished for any act of human decency and just basic human awareness. That's what this past 2 years has taught me, anyway.
Appreciate your analyses. Appreciate your presence. Thank you so much, Brooke Obie. Even appreciate your attack of me. Skeleton Key. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for being on Rootwork. And somebody said you need to come back once a month. So
hey, I'm down.
You should look into that.
Whenever you call, I'm here.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
I'm
going to let you go now.
Thank you.
And I forgive you for attacking me.
I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. So it's 5 o'clock. Only been here 1 hour. Y'all know I try not to keep y'all too long, but I really wanted to get that out. I hate the fact that I was unable to. Maybe we'll bring Brooke back to go fuller into that, but also I'll try to keep up as best I can on what is currently happening to have this type of it. If I can't bring Brooke back, bring someone else back and have this type of conversation. So appreciate you all as usual. Nappy-headed jojoba, you new to me. I'm not familiar with you unless you done changed your name and went by something else. But at any rate, I appreciate all of y'all for hanging out with me. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much for your support of Rootwork. Thank you so much for your support of Black Liberation Media. Again, hit the like, the share, the subscribe. Holla at that Patreon. Holla at that Venmo. Holla at that Cash App. And just holler in general. Just holla. All right? So I'm going to get out of here. Y'all enjoy the rest of your evening. You stay safe out there. And I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.